Hello everybody. First of all, a quick exhaust update. If you've followed my previous advice on exhaust fittings, well, you've only got yourself to blame. I was singing the praises of the Michelor clamps, but I kept on getting a leak where these intermediary pipes joined the tailpipes, and there was a couple of related issues. I still think they're good clamps, but just not strong enough to get a good clamping force around this small diameter stainless steel pipe. And what was happening, I had a leak here, and the exhaust paste was just blowing out, and I think that's in part because this section of the exhaust here, just after the main silencer, cools down a lot, and this is where a lot of the condensation forms. And before this part of the exhaust was up to temperature to dry out the sealant, the condensation was blowing it out. That wasn't helped by the fact that the clamps weren't really clamping strong enough, and this is I actually threw the clamps out in a tantrum. But this is a bolt I found. You can see the other thing I noticed then when I went back to redo this was that the bolts in the clamps were starting to bend, which was not good. And I thought they'd give a nice even fit around there, but they didn't. I did try a slightly beefier version. These are called zero clamps, again stainless steel, and you can see they've got very robust, thick sections where the bolt goes into. The Michelor ones was a kind of a thinnish bit of plate in there that the bolt went through. So these were far stronger, but still, these zero clamps, but still not enough force to get these stainless steel pipes clamped down. They're 34mm. So much as I think they're bloody ugly and I don't like the look of them, I went and bought a couple of old-fashioned U-clamps, and they have done the trick. The other thing I did was I switched from standard exhaust paste to silicone sealant. In this case, this is worth $180. I had thought about using this first time around, but I generally don't like silicone. I think it's bloody annoying stuff. But this was recommended, and I think certainly for stainless steel exhausts, it helps a lot, where you're not necessarily perhaps getting the same clamping force. And certainly in this case, where you could put the silicone sealer on, leave it. The instructions say leave it about 15 minutes. I left it longer than that, and it seals up without the exhaust gases going through and blowing it out like it does with the exhaust paste. So actually what I did was I took all the sections off of the exhaust and redid them with this silicone paste. This one was the one that was given the trouble, but that is all done and sorted out now. So the original Michelor clamps are still up on the front there, and they seem to be fine on the larger sections. Just these smaller sections, obviously harder to clamp down perhaps, just not quite up to the job. Neither were those zero. Those zero clamps didn't fatigue, but they still didn't clamp it tight enough. So new clamps in here. I'm beginning to see why the previous owner welded all this stuff up. New clamps, I think, if you're doing something like this, is perhaps the way forward. Thank you.